You got me?
Yeah, I got
Okay,
you.
cool. All right, if you have a question for Jeremiah, please use the raise hand function. Our first question will come from Luke Buxton. Go ahead, Luke.
So, Jeremiah, this is your second game this season in the national spotlight, playing a top 10 team. Another similarity with another great dual threat quarterback. What did you learn from the Notre Dame game and playing against Ian Book and that spotlight that you think will help you as you play your second game against Miami?
I think it's just giving reps of communicating with the guys when it's a big time game. A lot of times the guys get a little drifted, their brain goes somewhere else out there. When you're playing a top 10 team, you're excited to get out there, and sometimes you forget your calls because you're so excited to get out there on the field. So I think it's just the Notre Dame game got us ready for big time games like this, because looking back on Notre Dame game, I think we communicated really good, and I think that got us prepared for later games in the year like Miami.
All right, let's move over to Dina King, please.
Hey, Jeremiah, since this game, the third quarter, you guys have been more improved on defense. Just want your thoughts on making teams punt and getting off the field earlier.
Yeah, I think Bateman's done a good job. He switched up his blitzes a little bit over the past couple of weeks. We've been running some stuff that we put in fall camp, but we really haven't shown on film this year. So I think Coach Bateman doing a good job switching up blitzes, switching up coverages, is making the offenses a little bit erratic, and I think it got us getting us off the field on third down. And I think that's the biggest thing for us. Is it's been our story of the year. It's can we get off the field on third down? That's our biggest thing. And hearing that we've been doing a lot better over the past couple of weeks is good to hear.
To follow up on that, the defensive line, their improvement, how much easier is that making you and Chaz do your job?
Oh, it's great. I mean, I just got to give shout outs. I mean, to Tamon. I mean, Tamon and Ray and all those guys, they're getting in the film room. And it's not even just them. They're getting the young guys ready. They're getting Kamen Rucker ready. They're getting Murph ready. They're getting Dez ready. And I think they've, from the beginning of the season to where we are now, I mean, it's been huge steps. And I mean, shout out to them for jumping in the film room, getting with Tamon, staying after practice for about 15, 20 minutes and working on the things they need to work on.
Thank you.
All right, let's go over to Hunter Nelson, please.
Hey, Jeremiah, thank you for being with us today. So there's still a lot left to sort of unwind with Clemson and Notre Dame playing once more. Some have called your game against Miami a potential play-in game for the Orange Bowl. Has that message sort of made its way to the locker room this week, and what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it has made its way. I mean, I think that's just some more motivation for the team to show how big of a game this is. I mean, like us, a lot of teams are. This is the last regular game of the season. It's been a long season, so some teams get a little complacent with their calls, and they don't want to go to the film room as much because we've been in it since, I mean, August. And yeah, I mean, I think that's just an extra motivation to get out there and play on Saturday. We're going against a top 10 team in Miami, and it's a great opportunity to show that we can beat a top 10 team.
All right, over to Taylor Vipolis.
Hey, Jeremiah, how big of a challenge is it to prepare for a dual threat quarterback like Eric King, that it's something that is hard to replicate in practice?
Oh yeah, I mean, we got scout receivers and speed guys going in at quarterback to try to replicate the speed that he's going to have in the game. I mean, you're just not going to be able to. But yeah, just making sure everybody's on the same page and setting edges. Don't let him get an edge on the defense, because that's really when the defense starts to fall apart, especially with his speed and his agility. Don't let him get on the edge of the defensive ends, linebackers, nose tackles. Everybody just needs to. That's what we've been emphasizing today in practice, is just setting the edge on the QB and making sure he doesn't have any creases to go to, because he showed on film when you give him just enough space to get outside or hit the edge, he's going to make you pay for it.
Thank you.
Okay, over to Gregory Hall.
Hey, Jeremiah, what have you seen out of Brevin Jordan, and what's the difficulty with such an explosive, physical tight end that's on the line blocking and can get out and run routes?
Yeah, it's funny. You call him a tight end. I call him a hybrid because of how well he can play outside at 3 or number 2. I mean, his routes are just like the receivers' routes. That's why a lot of times they bring 85, the other tight end, with them, and they can run 11 personnel looks with 2 tight ends on the field because Jordan's that he's able to go out and he could play receiver and he's able to run the routes quick enough and he has enough speed to hit the edge. So yeah, I think that's a challenge for us. Them having 2 big bodies out there, being able to block in space, also in inside the tackle and in the box. What he's shown this season is something really good, but something we're gonna have to really prepare for during the week.
What's the best way to slow a guy like that down?
For us, I think it's just it's blitzing, and when we're in either it's a cover 4 or cover 2 and we have a trap corner, setting edges quickly. JQ is a really physical nickel. He's going to be lined up sometimes out there with 85 or number 9, and if we're in regular, we're going to have Chris Collins out there. So that could be another tool we go to if we're having problems with them blocking on the outside. We could move Chris Collins out there, but I'm confident in JQ if we're in dime and they're spread out, that JQ can go out there and set the edge and get the ball fitted back to the backers or the safeties.
Appreciate it.
All right, over to Ross Martin.
Hey, Jeremiah, who is the guy who's playing the scout team quarterback this week to replicate what King does?
Well, sometimes, when they're in their basic offense, it's Boaz, but sometimes we'll put Austin Chestnut back there. Austin Chestnut's really quick and elusive back there. Or sometimes they'll just move Elijah Green back there, and he'll be back there, and you would think it's a wildcat look, but he's really just replicating Darren King.
Gotcha. Cool. Thanks. And also, this is another away game. Obviously, fans aren't as much of a factor, but what are the challenges to an away game in terms of, like, you're not sleeping in your own bed, you're not, everything's not the same, things change that aren't normal. How does it affect you as a player when things aren't?
For me personally, I feel like you just need to have a routine that you go to every time you go to the away game, whether it's a 12 o'clock game, a 3:30 game, or if you're sitting around all day waiting for a 7:30 or 8 o'clock game. I think you just need to have a routine, and you need to have stay upbeat. Usually the game day, if you're away and you're playing later on at 3:30 like we are, you wake up early, you get your meetings out of the way, and then you're sitting down for maybe about an hour by yourself. And I ask myself, what are you going to do that hour when you're alone by yourself? Are you just going to lay around, watch games, or are you going to go back over your notes and just resuscitate what everything y'all did during the walkthroughs and through the meetings that you did in the morning? So for me, it's just preparing throughout the whole day, having my mind ready for coming up for the game. Since we're playing at 3:30, it's going to be a little bit later on than our 12 o'clock game. So I'm going to be getting ready, looking at our playbook, make sure everything's ready to go.
Like a home game. Yeah, I guess kind of what I meant was, like, is the away game, does it pose challenges because it's not exactly the same in everything you do? Does that affect you think? Like, not sleeping in your own bed, meals are in a different place?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, traveling. I mean, the travel by itself, I think, is a challenge. I mean, we're up here in the cold. We're some people up here with double layers and leggings, and we're gonna go down to Miami. We're playing in 75, 80-degree weather. I mean, that's a change in itself. You're going to have to be able to make sure you're hydrating a lot because we're flying. If you're flying, you're going to be dehydrated. So you got to make sure and you can't drink on the plane. So you got to make sure you drink a lot before you get on the plane and a lot when you get off the plane. So yeah, there's definitely adjustment we're going to have to make going down there.
Todd Gibson, please. Go ahead, Todd.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Jeremiah, late in the season, there's a lot of teams losing games due to COVID. You guys have avoided that. First of all, just how fortunate do you guys feel to be playing, and how have you guys kind of stayed away from that situation?
Oh, man, everybody on the team's just been doing the right things. I mean, everybody talks to everybody. There's no elephant in the room. Nobody goes out and hangs out. I mean, nobody's going out to any parties local in the area. Nobody's going to any get-togethers. And if we do anything, like, we're all together with the team, and we're making sure we're spread out. We're wearing our mask. So yeah, I think we approached it really well. We had our little incident early before the season, and luckily we had it before the season. And after that one little blemish on our team, we understood that this thing's really real and it can come and get you quick, and it can. And we just all came together. We had a team. We kind of get the leaders on the team kind of came together when the whole breakout came in, and we just told them, like, if you're going to be on this football team, like, don't go out, don't go do those things like with what everybody else is doing. If you do want to do anything, like, do it together as a team. And I think that's something we've done really well this season.
Is there one or two players, Jeremiah, that's kind of spearheaded what you just talked about?
Sorry, hold on. You can say that again. I didn't hear you.
Is there maybe one or two players that have kind of spearheaded what you just talked about, taking the lead on getting you guys headed in the right direction as far as what you just talked about?
Oh yeah, in August, I mean, it was before a team meeting. We came together, all the leadership. We got in a Zoom call because you couldn't really meet in the big rooms back then like that. So we got in a Zoom call, and there was no coaches or anybody on there. It was just all players, and we just all said what you had to say. Like, if you're gonna play on this team this year, we need to make a vow now. If you're gonna play on this team, nobody's gonna be going to any parties or doing anything like that. Like, if you want to be on this team and you want to go out and do something, like, do it with the guys and make sure you're taking all the right safety hazards when you're going out. Yeah, I think Sam spoke a lot in that meeting. I said a few words. Chaz said a few words. Tamon. I mean, a lot of the older guys really stepped up because, I mean, we've been here for some bad seasons, so we wanted to play and we wanted to have a good season. And, I mean, for those guys heading out like Chaz and Tamon and the older guys, like, they wanted to have a good amount of film to show the scouts that, like, they're ready to go. They didn't want to have any missed games, and thankfully we only missed one game this year, and that wasn't even our fault. So yeah, I think we handled it really well.
Thanks, Jeremiah. I appreciate it.
All right, Jeremiah, that's all we have for you today. Thanks for your time.